Not even from an atheistic perspective.
I can't do that, James.
Not
I don't
even
presuppose atheism.
Not even from an atheistic perspective, James, right? Saying that you presuppose knowledge is possible isn't an argument to show that knowledge is possible. So the question is, does Darwin's have a justification for his belief that knowledge is possible? Because remember, Darwin's view is that beliefs that don't have a justification are pure fantasy, right? So in order for him to not have a belief that knowledge is possible, which is pure fantasy, he's going to have a justification for that belief. Now, justifications come in forms, right? There can be an a priori argument to show that his belief that knowledge is possible is true. So he could give an argument, an a priori argument, that his belief that knowledge is possible is true. Then it would be a justified belief. Or he could provide evidence that he has knowledge, right? He could cite some evidence that he has knowledge, right? So he'd have to show that the belief that he has, the proposition that he has knowledge, generates certain predictive expectations which are confirmed by observation. So Darwin's, is your belief that knowledge is possible on your worldview a justified belief, or is it pure fantasy? And if your answer is that it's a justified belief, we'd like to hear how you justify it, by either giving an argument, an a priori argument, in support of your claim that knowledge is possible on the Christian worldview, or you can present some evidence that confirms your belief that knowledge is possible on the Christian worldview. So I can't wait. I can't wait to hear you justify your belief and show us that it's not pure fantasy. Go ahead, Dodger.
Okay, so James, you were talking about like from a skeptic's worldview. Do you think that skeptics hold to the position that knowledge is based upon probability? Do you think that that's their view, James?
Well, I'd rather hear from them, like how.
Well,
how
James,
do you justify knowledge?
questioning me. You,
an atheist.
James, there are certain power trolls that I don't dialogue with the room. There are other atheists that are non-trolls that I do dialogue with. But you started questioning me, so out of courtesy, I'm responding to you. I'm attempting to dialogue with you since you posed questions to me. Now, I'm asking.
I'd like to address that.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, what I'm
James.
Okay, I'd like to address
my question out, James.
Yes.
Now, James, do you think that the skeptics are claiming that they have knowledge that it is just based upon probability, or is it something more in your view, James?
I don't know.
Okay, good. Well, then there's no point in discussing any further about what the skeptics' view are vis-a-vis my conversation with you.
It doesn't seem like even if one presupposes...
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, James.
Excuse me.
We can ask the atheist.
James, I can't hear you. There's somebody talking over you. Go ahead, James.
It doesn't seem like
James, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Someone's
it doesn't seem like even that
Go ahead,
Darwin's
James.
What I'm saying is there are atheists in the room.
Go ahead,
We can ask.
I can't hear you, James.
It doesn't seem like Darwin's can
I
provide...
can't hear you, James. There's somebody talking over you.
Excuse me.
Go ahead,
It doesn't
seem
like Darwin's can provide a justification.
James, are you there?
Can somebody
I can't
mute
hear
Darwin's?
James, are you there? Go ahead, James.
Just say let Jack say what he's saying. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't seem like Darwin's can justify it on a Christian worldview. He keeps saying, I'm not a skeptic, right? So therefore, I don't have to justify it to a skeptic, right? But the question is, how even on a Christian worldview can he justify his claim, right?
Okay,
and so he would have to resort to the same methods of justification that he would on a skeptic worldview, right? Because what it means to have a justified belief is that you have an a priori argument that it's true, or that you have evidence that it's true. Now, James, let me ask you a question. Has Darwin's, even on a Christian worldview, presented any argument or evidence whatsoever for his belief that knowledge is possible on the Christian worldview, and that in fact that he has knowledge. And if he has, please tell me what the argument or the evidence is.
Yes, he did, but
well,
we can't
James, I
provide.
had asked you a question. James, would you like me to repeat the question? Because I didn't hear an answer.
I want to know what the argument is.
So James,
what's the argument that James
the question
said?
that I
James
had
said
asked.
Okay,
James
yeah.
said
James,
that there was an argument.
I'll give you both.
Okay.
I'll give it to you
I
both.
want
I'm
to
being
know what the
interrupted here.
argument was.
Jack, I will.
James said
And
there
Darwin,
was an argument.
yes.
What's
I'll give
the
it.
argument that he gave? What's
the
the
question-
argument that he
here-
gave?
James, I'll repeat the question that you
What's
weren't
the
given an
argument
opportunity to
that
answer.
Darwin's gave?
James,
What's
I'll
the
repeat
argument?
the question that you weren't
What
given
is,
an
can somebody
opportunity
mute?
to
Can
answer.
somebody mute Darwin's, please?
James,
What's
you want
the
me to
argument?
repeat my question to you?
Can somebody mute
James,
Darwin's,
James,
please?
would you like me to repeat the question?
Okay.
James.
Moderators, can you please
Okay,
mute
James,
Darwin's?
would you like
I
me to
want to
repeat
hear
the
what
question?
the
Darwin,
argument
stop.
is.
Please. Fuck's sake.
Well,
What-
I asked
what's
James
the
a question.
argument?
You need me
What's
to repeat
the
the
argument?
question, James.
What's the argument that James
James,
says
Is
Darwin's
there
has
a
given?
moderator in the room? Can we have some moderation in here? Okay, so James, the question I had asked you.
What's the
before you
argument?
Is
that
there a
James
moderator in the
said-
room?
I can't respond
What
for
is
atheists.
the argument?
Okay,
that
well,
James
I
said-
know you can't respond because you keep on being interrupted. So, James, the question.
What
Okay,
is
look,
the?
he said he
can
can't
somebody-
respond for atheists. Okay? I'll go, Jack.
Now, what's the argument?
Okay,
what's
so
the argument,
James, do you
James?
need me to repeat the
What's
question?
the argument? Can you please keep Darwin muted until
Okay.
James
All right, Jack,
answers the question?
I'll give it to you right after he asked me this. I'll give him the short, simple answer, and then I'll tell you right after, Jack.
Okay, James, do you need me to repeat the question?
Okay.
Yeah,
James, do you?
Go ahead, Darwin.
repeat
Yes.
the- Okay, good. Since you said that you don't know that atheists would base knowledge on a probabilistic claim, what other basis, other than maybe appealing to probability, could an atheist claim to know something? What would that be, James?
Well, that's a new question. The previous question, I can't respond for an atheist, and we have atheists in the room, so it'd be good to ask them how they justify knowledge
I have asked
and their worldview.
question. I have asked atheists that question, and
Well,
I really
James is
haven't gotten
supposed
a
to be
really good
answering
answer to
my
that question.
question
Excuse
now.
me,
Yeah,
James,
and then so now
I've
let me
asked that
respond to Jack.
question.
So now,
James
I'm
said
gonna
he was
respond to
going to
Jack.
answer my question.
So what?
Yeah, 'cause I have to go anyway, James.
What Darwin
Oh,
said.
you have to go before giving any arguments. You have to go. Is that right? Is that right, coward? Is that right? That ass raping got to be a little bit too much for you, coward?
So Jack, what he used the Bible, obviously.
Would you like to leave us with a parting argument to go, coward? Would like to leave us with a parting argument? You can't actually defend your claim, right? That knowledge is not possible on the Christian worldview, can you?
He presupposes God based on the Bible, but then he can't give a mechanism.
That's not an argument.
That's all it is. He can't give the mechanism.
That's not an argument.
As far as how God implants the knowledge. That's all. That's all he said. He can't give you the mechanism. We don't have access to that information.
I asked you if he gave an argument, and you said yes, he gave an argument. Saying he presupposes it is not an argument. I'm asking, what is the argument
I think Jack's right
that
on that
justifies
one.
the presupposition? I'm asking, what is the argument
Well, that was his response anyway.
Okay, so he doesn't have an argument. Is that right?
Yeah, you'd have to ask him.
I love these meltdowns.
Now, why don't you ask him?
It might help.
I love these meltdowns.
Why don't you ask him, James,
It helps you.
what the argument is?
Yeah, Darwin, if you could repeat